Please accept my apologies for missing Chapter 28.1. Here it is for your viewing pleasure. The Preserver stood staring at his armored doors. He had them special built to hold his creatures in, protection for Sam and the station. Now a small army was trying to bypass locks or cut their way in, another access way to the outer ring. He regained his composure, turned and marched back into his lab. 6 other smaller Preservers, yet to get their adult coloring, backed out of his way. The Preserver spun his head, focusing on each in turn with his 3 eyes. I don't like any of you, and you don't like me, but right now I need your help. The shortest of the 6 cantered forward. You are correct, but I have a chance to live here. Sam has made us promises, offered us a home. I will help. What do you need of me? The Preserver pointed toward the stasis lockers. Go to the racks. Find me Test Project 23. It will be marked with glyphs signifying Earth DNA. Get it ready for mental mapping. The Preserver turned toward his console. I will get the map ready. He focused on them. Get moving. The doors are strong but will fail soon. The small Preserver scuttled into the racks, and the other 5 followed. Torch flames burst through the zoo door. Trickles of molten alloy dripped onto the grating. The Preserver could see the sparks with his one eye not focused on the display. Hurry! Get the subject hooked in! The small Preserver was at the head of the subject, its 3 hands inserting programming probes into the flesh. Mappers ready! The Preserver hit the initiate button. Code ran through the mind, igniting synapses, programming, writing, forming thought over an empty slate of brain. The creature's eyes opened. The Preserver opened a case and lifted out a large double-bladed axe, holding it over the creature. Asterion, we need your help. The creature took the large axe in its right hand and stood on its 2 large bipedal feet. The Stygians melted through the locking binders, and the door came free. 6 sets of hands reached through and pried it apart. The 2 Stygians pushing, moved their bodies through the gap, getting more leverage to shove the doors open. A large axe came down, splitting both of the Stygians into disjointed piles of carapace and flesh. A large horned head with black eyes and a ring in its nose pushed through the gap. The full tribe of Stygians readied guns and began firing. Hair ignited, but the horned creature brushed it out and stepped through the door. It had a body built like the human Sam, but far larger. Plasma singed its flesh, but didn't penetrate. The beast flexed outward, sending a fist into the head of the nearest Stygian. The axe, held in the right hand, swung across, decapitating 4 more. The Preservers came from behind, small rifles shooting around Asterion. The Preserver Prime cantered next to the Minotaur. Keep pushing! Asterion put his head down and charged, bellowing a loud roar. Several Stygians fell down out of fear. The young Preservers walked up the walls and fired down at the fallen soldiers. The elder Preserver charged behind Asterion, picking off those firing at the young ones. Asterion crushed another with his left hand and sank the axe into the one who was giving orders. The Stygians, still alive, scattered down the halls. They undid their electronic breach hackers, and the doors sealed shut behind them. Several bolts of plasma fire darted through the doors before they slammed completely shut. The Preserver patted Asterion. You did good. He turned toward the smaller of the young ones. Go back to the lab and start the documentation. The small one bobbed. Yes, on it. And, the Preserver continued, mark Project 23 a success. Earth species hybridization via the Hinotri method has proven stable, and document the time elapsed so far without cellular melt. The small one bobbed. I'll get started. Send updates if you need any other observations noted. Will do, thank you, young one. You prove promising. On the other side of the station, Sam was pinned down. The large, skittering beast that bore Shineless's exaggerated face took up most of the hallway. It kept its head forward as bolts and gunfire dented and ricocheted off of it. Plasm stuck to the red hair and burned it down to scalp. Sam stood beside it, shielded by its head. The hagfish had given him a rifle and fired when there was a gap in incoming. The wreck-cloaked hagfish hid amongst the massive insectile legs of the guardian beast. They crawled over it like worms through fingers, firing their own customized rifles made to be held and triggered via tentacles. Thinwalk's tribe was down the hall. Energy shields were deployed, protecting the Stygians from fire. Their rifles were making the large guardian creature stop its tracks, and even take a couple back. Sam hit his earbud. "Orbit! Status!" "Sir, officers in the casino are dead or disarmed. The Preserver has made some progress, but he is stuck holding the zoo arm. He cannot assist you. We are at a standstill, sir. Sun Owner has accepted several of the offers I have proposed, but he insists you surrender and come to the casino now." "Are any of the hostages harmed?" "Some are, sir, yes. All staff and hostages are gathered in a circle on the main floor. He has shot 3 of them in their respective heads, sir. There are casualties." Sam fired a shot around the Guardian's right ear. He ducked back behind its jawbone. "Holo emitter working here?" "Yes, sir." "Give me a projection of the casino," he said. Orbit obeyed, and a purple glowing map of the casino and occupants appeared beside Sam. Sam looked it over. "Patch me through to Perry's comm." "Hello, Sam," Perry said, manipulating the comm keyboard inside his bodysuit, his hands on his head. "We are in a situation. I think they are going to kill everyone, Sam. I'm watching Perry. You have done great controlling yourself." "How do you feel?" Sam said. "I can feel them around me. I smell the bodies, sir, and I will admit I am hungry. My flesh wants to grow, divide. See those deceased officers behind Sun Owner? The System Lord? Behind him? Yeah, I smell them. If you take them, can you control yourself to not hurt the station guests?" Sam asked. "I feel eggs growing, Sir Sam. I can control my flesh, but if the eggs come free, they will be feral, like I was. It is risky. I do not want to hurt them. I want you to send some of your strings through the carpet. Get the officers up and firing. Everyone else is pinned down. We're at a standstill. The eggs, they might break free. I am worried, Sam. The doors here are breached. If a cluster is born and breaks free, you are risking the station." "Then don't lay your eggs. Either way, the station is lost. Either this asshole gets it, one of your kin take it, or you succeed and break this stalemate. Can you try it?" Perry typed out a yes. Several tendrils snaked under the red carpet over to the ignored bodies. The twine snaked through the flesh, feeling, touching, igniting the corpses with life. A hand quivered and grabbed a blaster from a holster. A headless Craddock stood up and began firing into the backs of the Stygians. Sun Owner dodged and fired back. The Craddock corpse took several hits and stammered. 3 more bodies, and Finnegan and 2 grazers stood up. They began firing, and then chaos broke out. The dead guests rose up and bit into the legs of the preoccupied Stygians. The officers' corpses kept on firing. One Stygian fell next to Perry. Perry quickly spread into the body, raising it back up to continue the assault. Orbit appeared, purple hollow light, in the crowd of screaming aliens. Orbit looked one in the eyes. "Run!" Orbit pointed at the now unguarded entrance. "All of you go! Get out of here! Get to the infirmary!" The guests ran screaming out of the casino. Sun Owner and the tribes with him were surrounded, their back to the lower employee access door. Sun Owner fired several shots into the rising bodies. One of the dead Stygians near him began to stir, grabbing at his feet. "Everyone follow me." He pointed at the rising dead. "Keep firing, we must flee." Sun Owner's 7th ran through the hall with his guardsmen. A horde of the mutilated shambled behind him. They took shots over their numerous shoulders as they ran. One of his guards waved its hands. "They are too fast. They are coming." The guard stopped and began firing rapidly into the bodies. "Run, my lord! Escape to the ship!" The guard was trampled, the horde uncaring as it continued after Sun Owner. The hurt guard started to get up after the bodies started walking away. He looked up to see an eyeless Finnegan looking down at him. A net of thread shot out of its hands and into his eye stalks. Sun Owner issued a retreat across his channel. Thinwalk, staring down the hall at Sam, waved his hands frantically. "Fuck you, Sam! Fuck this place! We tried to do things peacefully. You're dead now!" Thinwalk waved to his tribe, and they started backing down the hallway. They disappeared around the corner. Sun Owner, Thinwalk, and the tribes held the horde back with continuous fire as they backed down the hall to their ship. Thinwalk held the door as the last of his men entered, and then latched the airlock. Thinwalk got on the ship comms. "Is the ship infected?" "No, sir," the pilot answered, typing on his console. "The alien AI has been held at bay. The data confusion dump worked as predicted, sir. It spent its time processing info." "Good. Get us a safe distance and ready the Starlants." "Starlants powering up, sir." Spitz-Little sat in dark cockpit floating, watching the Felbian vessel prime its weapons. She snarled and flicked the Omega's controls fast left, propelling the spinning mech in a spiral toward them. She lifted the sword, using her other hands to control it. The sword lit up, and the mech flashed like a spinning saw blade as it tore through Sunowner's craft. The Omega stopped and unfurled into its full height, far on the other side of Twain Station. Spitz-Little watched as the ship detonated. Sam, the Hagfish and Guardian, Asterion and the Preservers, and the remaining officers stood staring down Perry and the Horde at the entrance to the lower docks.